All right. Thank you, team, once again. So I started recording now. So as I mentioned, this topic basically, I will be giving you these notes as well, where you will be learning Git. So as I mentioned, in today's topic specifically, we will be learning about Git. So there are so many things to learn in Git also. Sometimes people think that Git is a very small. It we can learn in maybe this thing, but it's not the case, right? We need to understand the real time, case to case, like situation wise, right? This is where we are going to learn today. Okay, so this is where we are going to learn today. So what we'll do today is we will try to basically learn with the this thing, what you share, Git. And after this one, once we complete this all course, what we will do, let's say once we complete at least 50% of this program, basically what we are going to do is that we are going to follow agile methodology, right? So where we learn here basically in Azure DevOps itself, we will try to understand what is agile methodology and why even we use that, right? So let's say once we understand 50% of this program, we will try to understand in real time. Let's say having basically we will create Azure dashboard, manage everything through agile methodology itself, so that we know when we actually work in your real what is a project, right? You will be easy to basically work in the real environment. So same way we will do our best practice to follow our agile methodology, and we will start basically working on that. But for now, first we'll go with the basic, that is a Git. As I mentioned, these are the things that you will be learning today, and we will try to maybe this particular Git, at least 2 days, 2 classes required. That means 2 days is required minimum at least. Okay, for now I will have to check. Sorry, this, I mean, this GitHub and Git we can complete in 2 days also. It again depends on the person to person and their experience matter. Or again, let's say if there are new people who are learning as a beginners, so it's okay. We can extend 3 days as well, not an issue. So I want every one of you to understand first. If there is any questions or query that you have or doubts, please do let me know so that I can clarify your doubts. Don't keep yourself anything like hidden, right? You have to ask your queries or doubts. Then only you will be able to understand better, right? So let's get to the first, that is your Git part. So first of all, I have a notes. I will show you my repository. I will give you this repo as well to Git. I have it. Let me check. Docker. Yeah, this one. This is basically specifically for the students who wants to learn this thing. This is made by myself. I made this available to all my students so that they can learn easily. But don't be scared by seeing this one. It is very small. So let's say if I say Git, we will understand why Git is used, what is the benefit and all. So first of all, I want to know how many of you are new to Git, so that I get some idea. Just raise your hand, or maybe at least this thing. How many of you new? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I
Fine.
have a basic understanding, but still
Uh,
I'm new.
okay. Great. Yeah. Yeah. Fine. So no problem. We will go still. I would. What I'll do is that I will go with the very basic, so that everybody can follow. And also something what we think is that we know everything, but then somewhere we are lacking. Okay. All right. Great. Fine. Thanks for that. So what I'll do is I'll go with the very basic. Let us understand first Git flow. Before that, let us understand the why Git is used, right? Git is basically, this is a definition. I will give you this note as well. You can have a look later. Okay. Then I also have one more notes. Basically, that is to give for your reference, basically configurations and the basic commands and everything. I'll give you this note as well. But before that, let us understand why Git is used, right? So if you talk about the simple definitions in a Git, right? Git is an open source distributed version control system that allows developers to track changes in their code base, collaborate with others, and manage software development project effectively. It provides features such as branching, merging, and version history tracking, enabling developer to work on different features or fix simultaneously while maintaining a complete history of the project's development. In simple case, it seems little very lengthy, but if I had to explain simplest way, Git is nothing but, first of all, it is a distributed it's an open source distributed version control system. When I say this distributed version control, what it means? Can somebody explain? I mean, say what it basically means. Distributed. This is very okay. Distributed version control system. What it means basically?
When the code is GitHub is accessed by many developers, right? As you said, it's a shared system. When
Okay.
multiple people are working on a certain code, they try to
Okay.
make changes and implement on it.
Okay. Yeah.
So the code is actually distributed among many people, and there many people from their systems are accessing that code and making changes in a particular point of time. It means the same
Okay.
time actually.
Okay.
So it
Yeah.
helps in tracking each version. When certain thing changes, the version
Okay.
changes, right? Something gets updated or something happens. So
Hmm.
we can easily track the every version and who edited it and what changes are made. Basically, that's
Yeah.
what I get.
Yeah. You're right. But yeah, what you're saying is correct. But in my understanding, when I said distributed version control in simplest way means we need to understand two things here. Like the we need to differentiate. There is a one more called as a GitHub, right? You might have heard, right? GitHub and a Git. We need to understand these two things. Git basically works in here locally. That means, say for example, let me. I hope you guys install Git. If you don't know how to install it, it is very simple. I guess everybody install it. If you don't know, I will show you first so that I can explain this thing. Just go to your website, like you just simply type, or I'll give you these documents also. You can follow these documents along, like here, as you can see here. I think somewhere I given. Here, you can download here. You can refer these documents. Okay, I will give you in the chat also once. Maybe okay, I'll give you. The installation is very simple, straightforward, nothing to do. You just click the link. If you click, there is a download button. You select the Windows, everything. If it is a Mac you select, and then just next you do. That's it. No, nothing to do. No configurations required. Okay, it is very straightforward. Okay, so once we are good with the installations, what we will do next is, as I mentioned, we are going to understand the benefit of using it. Uh, uh, Somebody, sorry, who was telling last this thing, explaining? Is it Bhagwan? That's Harat. Okay, no problem. So first, what we'll do, we'll try to understand this one, right? So say for example, now what I'll do is I will create one separate. This is a empty folder basically, or you can call as a directory or a folder. So in my say, I just mentioned DevOps. Okay, I'll just given this is a folder or directory name as DevOps. Right now, I don't have anything right now. It is a complete empty folder. Now, I also need to install this thing also, Visual Studio also, by the way. To install Visual Studio, you just type VS Code or download something like that. This is second step. There is a option to download. Some just like Git, you have to select based on your this thing. In my case, it is a Windows. Double click. Again, these are the next. That's it. Double click. Once you install, it will be extracted. Then next you have to do it. Let me just show you once. Yeah, once you show like this, it will come. It will be popping up. Once it is completed, you just click next, just like how you usually use install your any application, any tools, right? Let's say Chrome or anything, same way. So once we are done with the Git installations and BS Core installations, the BS Core why we require is because we basically there are other ID tools we can use, but we prefer to use a BS Core itself because many of the projects using Git BS Code only. Okay, so fine, we are good with these two things. Now in my case, I have already installed it. If I check here, you can see I have already installed it. Let me click here. Let me know if I'm going a little fast so that we can go a little slow also, not an issue. Okay, so what we'll do once we install, once we install, Then we'll open the BS code. Then there is an option called file. If you go to file, you can select your folder because we have created one folder here, right? The DevOps folder. So there are many way of doing, but this is simplest way I'm showing you. Go here, open the file, then go to desktop, select your DevOps folder right now. Right now, as you can see, this is empty folder. That means I do not have anything right now. Now try to understand one thing here. As I told you, this is an empty folder. Sorry, this is the empty folder. I don't have anything right now. Now let's say I want to within this folder, I have a repository now. Means I will create one repository so that let me create new repository. Go repositories. I will explain about this GitHub also how to use it. Okay, but before that we'll understand Git first. There is an option called new, right? If you click on the repository new, you can give any name. Let's say DevOps file, something like that. You can give any names. This is a repository name. Okay, DevOps files are given. Right now, I will keep it as public, private, depends on you. I will keep it as private for now. So that will be access only this thing. So, okay, I will enable this also, readme file. I will explain why readme file also important. Okay, that's it. So basically what you did was you went to a repository on your profile and you given the repository name as DevOps Pulse. Later I given this one. It should be whether it is private or public. In my case, it is a private. So I will also be needing this readme file also. Okay. Then let rest I can keep it as not as default. I'll just create it. This is right now. This repository is available. If you go here, basically in your under profile, there is a repositories, right? Your repositories. Go there. So as you can see, right now it is created, updated right now, right? If you click here, what we will do, I'll just show you the flow first, so that later I'll explain the Git flow first. First, I'll clone it so that I can show you the flow. Okay. Right now it is private. So first of all, how can I clone this one? Before that, once I clone, let me show. There is a button, right? Click here. There is a many way of doing it. Let's say HTTPS, SSS, GitHub, CLI, everything. But this also you can do it if you're using a Linux-based systems where you want to generate SSS key and then do it. You can do it so. So if you have, let's say, you want to authenticate from the Linux server or systems, you simply click here, add, okay, add new public key. You can do it. You can have this thing. Same way, if you don't know, instead of coming here also, there another way. You simply go to profile, right? Under profile, there is a call as your profile. 1 minute. There is a repositories settings. Okay, under settings, you can see here SSS and everything. You can show here. If you're using the Linux base, you want to authenticate from the Linux systems, you can simply select. First of all, you need to create the SSS key from your Linux systems, and then you can give any title name, and you need to define your key. Basically, copy paste the key, whatever key you have it from the Linux systems, so that you can authenticate. That is one way. But we don't want to do that. As I told you, we have it. We will do it from our Windows base. So we don't want to do that. We will do through the HTTPS. Okay. So I'll click this link basically. I will copy this link. Once I copy the link, I will go here. As I told you, right now I don't have anything. It's a complete blank. Only what I did was I simply selected this folder, that is a DevOps folder, so that I can use it. Now what I'll do is, that means within this folder, I want to clone my repository. This one, I want to clone it. Okay. So don't worry why clone be used also, I will explain you. I'm just trying to configure first so that I can explain it. All right, now, so I have done it. I can go here. There is a button, terminal, new terminals, click there. As you can see here right now, this is under my username and desktop under DevOps folder. This one, right? Simply I'll type a git clone. Then copy paste the link what you have been copied from your previous year. You copy the same URL, copy it here. As I copy here, what happens? It is cloning now. As you can see here, cloning into this particular Azure DevOps. That means here you can see this is a folder name before. We didn't have this one. Just now it is created. This is coming from where? If you can see here, readme.com also. Readme what we have Azure, sorry, DevOps Pulse. This is coming from our remote repository. That means here. Right now, what we did was we only clone it. So clone what basically does, it basically copy. It is a copy of your repository in the sense whatever you have in your remote repositories, the same copy will be stored or downloaded in your local systems. That means same copy of your data or the repository will be stored in your locally. Okay, this is the clone. Now till here we are good. Now if I check git status, let me we see what we notice. There are so many things that we can see git status. The reason is why it is coming like that. Let me go back to this thing. If you go here, DevOps, under before DevOps folder, I mean, go back to the DevOps folder. I mean, let me go. Right now you can see. As soon as I click clone this thing, there is a something called as a .git is installed. .git is where this is your within the repository. Now, you might be thinking, what are all these? Why is it so important? Is it important also? The answer is yes. Okay, we'll explain why this is so important. Before that, I will go with the flow so that we can explain it. So I hope till now it is clear to every one of you. Okay, if you have any question, please let me know. Okay, so till now we are good. So as I mentioned, we need to go to the repository. Right now we are within the directory, that is your DevOps directory, not with inside the repository. So let me go inside the repository. That is a DevOps Pulse, right? DevOps Pulse is your repository name. That means CD using the CNS directory. I am going inside my directory. So as I click here, now if I type again git status, right? If I type again git status, now I can only see on main branch, that is your main branch. Okay, we are up to date. That means we are nothing. Now you can see nothing to commit, working 3 clean. Okay, fine. Now, right now we are in our which directory within inside your repository. Now, let me come to the here our documentations. These are some of the benefits basically distributed system basically. That means as I told you, distributed system is nothing but let's say you being if you don't let's say now you have clone your repository. Okay, now you don't have antenna connections. You want to still work on your core even without having the antenna also you can still work locally. You can create a branch, they can do anything that you don't need any antenna connection. But when you actually working, let's say you want to clone, basically you want to work with from remote, right? Let's say you want to work here somewhere here, you need a antenna connectivity. But when it comes to the locally, that is your git, you will not have, you don't need an antenna connection. But okay, that is a thing. But again, if you have to work deal with the remote connectivity, yes, you need the connectivity as well, remote connectivity. Okay, let's go with the workflow. Git workflow we'll understand first. You can have a look first. What are the benefits? Let's say we have a distributed development, enable offline and independent work. You can have a different brands you can create and you can work individually, right? You can have a look 1 second. This all possibly mean we can do it. And directly we'll go here. First thing, as I told you, we have installed Git. We have already downloaded, right? We have installed it. Now, how can we check using this git command? We can simply, there is a button, copy or you can do, or instead of copying like this, if you are good at writing, I mean typing, you can type it. So you simply type here git double dash version. Then you can see the which version you are using. This is basically your git version, right? This is how we can check it. That means we have installed successfully done. Now we can check the version of the git as well. Second, what we can do, this is also very important. That is your user, I mean configuring your user information. Let's say I'm working in my local systems. Okay, somebody is working in different another systems. How the Git will come to, how the Git will track you that who's working on what changes, right? We don't know, right? That is why we have to basically configure our username and email ID. This will help us to identify or basically understand who's doing changes what, right? This is why we need to define the username and password. So I have a notes here also. As I told you, this also is very basic, which is very important in the, let's say if you actually going in the project or anywhere, these are some things you should be knowing it. In the sense that is very simple. This is a one-time configuration, guys. Okay, you don't have to do it again and again. This is just a one-time configuration. What basically it means: git config double dash global, then username and username. That means set user. That means let's say right now I will just say git config double dash list. What it basically does, if I type this, okay, if you see here, there you can see my username. It will be somewhere here, as you can see here. This is my user dot name is my username. That is my Hriyen Tripura. Similar way, I have a username as well. Sorry, email ID. User dot email ID is my, this is my .com. I mean gmail.com. This is my email ID. That means now, and this is a alias. Alias is nothing but if you want to give any short name. Say for example, as you can see here, um, alias dot br. Br nothing but if you instead of brands, you can give simply br short name. That means you can type instead of defining the git brands, you can simply type git then br, so that it will be considered as a brands. Same way, whatever short names you have it in your basically git, right? Those we can define here actually. Okay. So anyway, and also once you understand this, like right now we have understood. Let me how see if I here we are finding difficult. How to we are not able to exit. How can I exit here? See if I'm keep typing it, I can if I use the escape button also I will not be able to come out. So what is the way of coming out? Simple. You just type Q. Q is nothing quit. See, I type Q button, not button basically. Q there is a in a keyboard, right? Type a Q. It will take you back to your again your this thing. Okay. Right now, as you can see, we are here. Now, what we are trying to do is that we will try to configure username. As I told you, this is my username. I want to configure this one. You can copy paste or you can type manually. The best practice is you can just look this one and type manually so that it will help you to basically do a lot of hands-on, right? This is why I would definitely encourage to every one of you, please do that. So it is very simple. Git config, you will be doing it and typing it, then double dash global, and then user dot name, similarly user dot email, and you have to use this one. Means your username and the email ID. Let me show you that. Now I have seen my username and password. I mean username and email ID. Now I want to change it, or maybe I want to update. Let's say if I type git config double dash global, okay, then I can give a anything user dot name. As I told you initially, we have our username is Hriyen. In my case, I will try to maybe first reset this one. Okay, I will try to reset this one. Why I want to reset is because the reason why I'm saying, because I'm already using it. I need to answer it to remove the existing alias. Sorry, not alias. Yeah, alias also if one you can remove it. If you want to remove, you can do. If you have an alias name, you can remove it. But in my case, I have already defined my username and everything that you can do it. So simply you type your username, then sorry, you type your username, whatever name you say. Okay, let's say I can type anything. Okay, wait, just type like this. So now if I type again the comments git config double dash list, I can see this also. Where is that?
Is it basically overwriting the previous name and changing it?
As you can see here, yeah. Yes, if you have existing, yes, because this can be configured based on the profile, right? You have only one profile, right? You do not have multiple profile. In the sense, your in your systems you have only one profile, right? So as you can see here, before it is a Hriyen, now it changed to Vivek, and email ID remains as it is. Okay, that, but basically this is based on your user profile. That means I have only one user name on, like, that is a HR something, so it will be on based on that. Now it is changed. Now if you want to overwrite, you can just type that one. Same way, you for email ID also, let me quit double using q. Now if I type here again, instead of this one, like user dot email, right? Email, then I can give my email ID something, let's say Hriyen uh, at the rare example.com. Anyway, I don't want to change that one. I think you understand. I will give the, maybe I will have to, okay, I have another one. I'll give that one because I can change that otherwise. 777 at the rare gmail.com. Yeah, you have to put the double quotes here. Always remember this one. Okay, then otherwise not work. Now if I use again the list, I can see here. It is somewhere where here. Okay, distance. So this is again, as I mentioned, based on this thing. Now be understood defining this thing. Um, but better, I let it be for now. I don't want to change it. Let it. I'll just give as it is. But if you notice your BR alias name as a BR, not that means brands. Let me quit from using Q. Git BR. If I type BR also, I can see the main. What is the main? Main is nothing but it is a branch name, right? That means right now I am sitting, or we are sitting in main branch. Okay. Uh, Before that, let us understand, before going further, we'll complete this one first. Alias name. Alias name also why we require. As I told you, I have shown you using BR we can define it. That means now I will give another alias name. That is, if I type same thing global alias dot your alias name, whatever alias name you want to give basically. For example, I will give alias name git config. Okay, git config, then double dash global. Then I can mention the alias dot alias dot, then whatever alias name you want to define. In my case, I want to define the, we try with a BR, that means branch. I will type with the let's say HR. Again, double quotes. I can use a what you call that branch. That means if I type with this same thing HR also, it will be considered as a branch name. I mean, it will list the branch. Now, if I type here git HR, you can still see this one. The reason why, because in the alias name I given for a branch alias name I given as HR. You understand, right? This is why we could see the same branch. Okay, this is a very basic configuration, guys. So we have done this one. We are good now. We have, if you want to, in case, let's, I don't want this alias to be basically used anymore. This can be case to case again. Sometime there will be a huge, so some people, they don't prefer to use a long name, right? So you can make a short name basically. That is where you are going to use a alias name. So in my case, if I want to remove, there is only the dash global unset, then you can mention the alias name. In my case, I want to remove the HR. Same way, you can just use the uppercase. I mean, this thing, alias HR double dash unset. Unset mean it is going to reset basically, in the sense you're no more going to be used. Now it is gone now. That means now if I type again git HR, it will not work because there is no any alias configured. See here, there is no any alias is configured for HR. Before it was configured for alias branch, right? Branch name is config branch. Now it is not showing because we have removed it. That is how we can check it. If you want to check still, using the git config list, we can check it again. Here it will not be the any alias now because it is remote any no more. Only br is there. That is a beauty of this one using the alias. Okay, now let's go with the understanding. First thing we have understood the basic configuration, like how we need to configure the git, right?
Hello.
Now, yeah,
Hey. I want to know one thing. Like the changes now we are doing, so it will comes under name of Vivek, right?
yes, you're right. Yes,
So if you again add another user with something like Sharath, so we have to replace or it will now go with the new user.
you cannot. Yeah, good questions. You cannot have two different username because this works. Windows works with the individual username, right? So either you have to switch the user from different another user, or you have to basically this thing like whatever username you have configured the recent one, it will be used that only.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay, if you had to, let's say you are having another username, then you have to manually update the username first in order to update your username in your git. Clear?
Yeah.
Great. Now we have understood the how to configure. Now we will understand the basically initialization, like how what happens in the background. Right now, as I mentioned, we don't have anything here. I will just clear screen. Let me pull this also little. Right now, I don't have anything. Inside repository, that is Git DevOps repository, right? Pulse, Azure Pulse. I don't have any repo. I mean, this thing. Now I click here. There is a button called file. If you click the first one, you can simply check. This shows that means new file. That means if you want to create within your repository, that is your DevOps Pulse repository, you will be using this create file, else you can use the second, that is for your creating a folder. Sometime again it maybe depends on the requirement, right? You may need to define or create a folder, sometime file. So it again depends on you. And the third is your refresh the explorer. Instead of closing your this thing, you can refresh from here itself. And the next, if you want to use, but mostly we don't have to this thing collapse and all, but yeah, if you want to define this also we can do, but these three mostly we use it. Now say for example, I want to create one more folder within my repository, that is Azure Pulse. Now you just need to click here, click first, you have to keep your cursor under which you want to define, then second you need to define, I mean click over here. Now you can define a folder name, let's say folder 1. Now this is a folder. Now as you can see the folder structure now. Right now the folder is under DevOps Pulse repository, right? Now within under this repo, I mean folder, if you want to create a file or folder, depends on again, click over here and click your cursor over there. Then you can create a file or folder, whatever. As you can see how it is now, file 1, let's say. Now that means now within the repository, that means under repository we have a folder 1, under folder 1 we have a file called file 1. Now if I type here, this is for a test, something like that. That means, can somebody tell me now, if you have noticed here, there is something called as a u, what it means basically? Can somebody explain why u is defined here? U everywhere you can see the u, why? No,
User defined or something like that.
okay, no, not really. U is nothing but it is a untrack. What is that? Untrack. U means untrack, untrack, untrack. That means this is not been tracked. Yes, of course, this is not being tracked because the reason why we have not tracked, because this is still in your local systems, right? This is in a local system. That means still Git cannot track these particular changes. This is why Git will, they are trying to understand, mean identify that, stating that this particular repository, that specific this particular folder or file still not being tracked. Okay, you mean untracked basically. That's the thing. I hope this is clear. Now then, okay. Next, we have understood this also we have done. This also we are done. Check also we done. Let us understand this particular. This is very important, guys. You should know this particular components, like key components of Git repositories. Basically, this particular this thing, you should know what is working directory, what is staging area, what is repository. These three, when you actually working in a Git, right, you should have a proper understanding. Otherwise, you end up doing many changes, and then you end up frustrating yourself, where I'm doing, what I'm doing changes, you're not able to understand it. Okay, first thing we understood how to identify. First thing we have understood this one, u is nothing but it is untracked. Now that means I have saved it, but still Git will not be able to track because it is not no more managed by Git still. But this is able to identify because I'm inside my repository, that is your Git, sorry, DevOps Pulse. Now let me type here, let me, sorry, I have already opened here. You simply type git init, sorry. Before that, let me show you. If you notice here, under sorry, under here, right, under here, right, under, this is a folder we created recently, right. Right now we only see the repository, right. We could see only one repository. Now let me show you. Now if I type here also, um, let's say under same this particular folder, that is DevOps Pulse, I have only folder one. This is the folder one, and redmi.com, sorry, redmi.md. These two are there. Now let me type git init. What happens? We will explain it. Now if you see, reinitialize existing git repository, this particular to that. Now that means, now let me go back. Now if you go inside, now as I told you, this is a time you can see 244 here, 244 time. That means right now we have initialized new one. That is why we have a folder one. Under folder one, we have a something called a file one. This is also there. Then we have a under here. First, let us understand this part. I think before understanding this one, I will go with the first the flow here. These three things. Then we'll go with the next that one. The first is the working directory. Working directory basically is a local directory where files are edited. Represents the current state of the project. Meaning, right now what we see now, let's see if I type here on git status. Git status basically to check the status of the changes. Right now, as you can see, I have a folder one that is a red color. How do I identify this particular is which now? Anytime, whenever you see red color, okay, remember this one. Whenever you see red color, as you can see here right now, that means you are in your working directory. Working directory is nothing but in your current locations, means in a current system. Okay, that means you are in a current directory here. This is why it is showing as a red color. Then second thing, sorry, where is that? Second thing is a basically, as I told you, it is a represent. Basically, whatever changes, let's say I did only one changes, that is a folder one I created, right? Under folder one only we have a file, right? This is why only folder one is showing. Now, if I create under repository, I mean, if I have under this repository, I will create one more file, something called as a file two. Okay, file two. This also file two, file two. Okay, now if you try to again track the using the git status, this all I have two folder right, under this thing, because this is under this thing. I mean under what I call folder one. This is why we folder one, sorry, file one, file two are showing. Now what we need to understand here, as that if you see here, Nothing added to commit, but untracked files represents use git add to track it. That means, as I told you, we have not used the git add, right? That is why we can see the u is nothing but, as I told you, it is a untracked. So to track this one, what I have to do, I have to use a git add. Before that, uh, what we'll do is, then we have a staging area. Staging area also you can call as the index. Depends on the person to person, it may varies, right? You can call anything, like you can call staging area or you can call index, but both are technically same. Okay, and index is nothing but, or the staging area is nothing but prepares changes for commit, allows selective staging of modifications. Meaning, first thing, whenever you're running git, you have not done anything right now, right? You simply do changes, and you can use the file. Then there is a save button. I have already done this, that you can use the control S also, it will save still. Okay, after saving it, if I type same thing as I told you, git status, this will show you whatever changes you are doing. The changes whatever you're doing, that is done in your locally. This is why red color. Now if I type the git add, that is second comments. This is the basically you have to follow that way. After writing, you have to use a git add. Okay, after saving it, you have to use a git add. Now git add again depends on, there are many ways. Let's say I have now only one folder. I can commit, I can add only specific folder, or let's say if I have multiple folders or multiple files, instead of defining individual file name, I can define all is the space dot. Space dot is nothing but you are telling that I don't want to commit, I mean do only this particular this thing folder. I want to do it everything. This is why I use a add. But if you want to define only one, you can use the like a folder whatever, like that folder name. You can remove this also. This is basically if you use auto tab, this will come like that also. You can do, okay, you can manually type, otherwise you can do this also like that. Okay, that means I have added only particular file. If I have but thousands of files or hundred of files, you don't do that. Usually do what you have to do, you have to do, instead of this one you have to use a add. This I will be doing later. Okay, now let us see git status. Now you will see instead of red color, just notice this one. This is a red color, right? Let me show now. If I change now, I mean using git status, what is coming now? It is coming under folder one. We have a file one, file two. The new file. That means these two are new files we have created, and all these two are basically, as you can see here right now, these are basically change the status. Before it was the red color. Red color, as I mentioned, that means you are in your local systems. In the sense, working directory. Local system in the sense your working directory where your folder resides. That means you are under your DevOps repository, sorry, folder. Right now, you have from there, you have moved to staging area. What is staging area? Let us understand here. As I told you, staging areas we can also call as index, prepare changes for commit. Let's say that means staging areas nothing but, as we all know, basically they are moving from your local what is it, that folder to their staging area. It's a kind of separate environment. That means you saying that this particular changes is ready for the commit, as simple. That means the particular changes, that means this particular folder, it is ready for me to commit. That means I'm good with everything. Let me move to the staging area. That means it is somewhere good for me to commit. Okay, this is why it is a staging area now. So anytime you see green color, that means you can think that that is actually a staging area. That means you are not in your local directory or working directory. You are in your staging area or index area. Okay, this is why I could see here this one. Now, now let's say if I type as I told you, if I type git commit, this is how it is coming. Now let me push this one to the remote. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Sorry,
Yes.
sorry. Actually, I think there is some issue. I got disconnected. Sorry for that. Sorry. Yeah. So fine. Let me. I think it's being recorded. Let me check. Uh, yeah, it's recording. Okay, fine. Let me share it. Okay, so I was. I don't know where I lost it. Till here, I think you guys are understood, right? Till here, staging area.
Yes.
Okay, great. Fine. So next, I was telling about the staging area. Staging area is nothing but it's basically a kind of you're saying that it is ready for the commit. That means you're good with the code. You're everything you have. First, you will write a code. You will identify whatever issue. Once you're done with your requirements, then only you will do a git add. Right? This one, this commands you will use git add double dash. This one you will use it. That means you are saying now you are moving whatever changes you are doing in locally, those changes you are moving to your staging area. That means this particular file, whatever you are seeing, folder or file, will be moving to the staging area using git add double space dash. I mean down dash dot. Okay, that's how it is. Now that is why we have already in the staging area. This is why we could see this green color icon before it was red. Now if you notice here below to restore to stays, and if I want to untrack, this is for unstays. Unstays in the sense you are going back, in the sense you don't want this one to basically bring it to the stage. You want to go back again green color. This is also possible. Let's say you want to return back to your local working directory, but you don't have to do that one. If at all you want to change still, you can come again and do changes, whatever changes you want to do. Let's say I want to remove this one. If I do also, again I can type git status. If I use a git status, one more, it will be red color will come now because one modification I have done after moving stages. The question may come, right? Can I modify if this is on stage? Yes, you can do that. You can see, right? File one, I modified something. This is a file one. I modified something that is for red color. But if you notice one more, we have a file two, it is in the stage area because we have not modified or we have not touched anything. This is why we could see this particular as it is green, but only changes what we made, that is in red color. That means this particular file was in red color. It will not show stage and unstage both. Remember this one. Only whatever changes you're doing recently, those changes will be shown. That means this particular file I have done, so it is showing. Fine. Now let me show you. Let me commit this also using git add double dash. Sorry, git add space dot. So everything is going to be added to your staging area. Now if I type again git status, again everything will be in the green color. Now that means this is right now staging area. Now if I want to type git commit dash am or m, you can give both, but I prefer to use all in one message. Then I can define the message name as whatever message name. Normally this message name should be depends on the changes that you make. In my case, I have done changes, recent changes I have made file one, right? You can mention updated file one, something like that. That means now if I notice here git add status, if I use again, it is gone. I don't see right now you're saying now on main branch, your branch is head of origin by one comment. Obviously, because we have done one changes locally, right? Using your main origin. Origin is nothing but it is your their destination, in the sense your original branch, that is your GitHub, right? In GitHub, we have a branch called this thing main, right? This is a branch name main, right? This is called as your origin, not your local one. This is called as a origin. Origin main, if you see here, origin slash main. That means by this, that means whatever changes you could see here, same changes, if you see here, only same changes, whatever, it will be only available here locally. That means the whatever changes you have done, like you have added 2 files, right? Still it is not moved in your remote repository, that is your GitHub. Still it is not there. Reason being, because we have not pushed the code right now, it is still locally. Question is then, what is then, where is the code stored now, right? Because as I told you, we can also call a working tree. Working tree is nothing but, again, as I told you, working directory, working tree, both are same. Don't be confused again. Okay, both are same only. So right now we don't have anything in, but so we'll try to understand one more thing here. Repository, this is what I was trying to understand. Now repository stores project history and metadata, centralized location for collaborations. Meaning now this particular changes that whatever we are doing locally, local repository in your Git, not in your GitHub. Remember, local repository in the sense locally you have a centralized locations repository in a local system. It is stored. But question is, when I use these commands, right? When I use this particular Git commit and whatever the message name I give, what it means basically, whatever changes you are doing, that means from whatever changes you have done in your staging area, remember, whatever changes you are doing in your staging area, those all changes will be taken as a snapshot. I hope you are clear, right? Meaning, now, as I told you, first we will do changes locally, then we will add, that means we will move to the staging area. Once we move from staging area, then we will do using the git commit, right? Git commit is a third command, remember. First will be git add. First, obviously, we'll write a code, then git add, then git commit. Git commit means basically, before git commit, what we do? Git add, right? So after git add, when we use the git status, we could see this file that is in green color. That means this is actually in stage area or staging area. So after this only, you will be able to run, that is git command, git commit. That means if you run in the third, if you run this commit, what happens? Whatever you have changes in your staging area, that means in your green color icon, no, green color, right? Whatever changes you have, everything in your staging area will be taken as a snapshot and stored in your local repository. Remember, local repository means in a local system repository. Okay, this is the funda behind the Git flow. Now, I hope this is clear. Now, as I told you, now this I hope this is clear. I will give you one small example. I mean, not example, basically, better way of understanding now. Say example, before what we were doing is we created one folder and we were working in our working directory or working tree. No matter what you call, whether it is working directory, working tree, both remain same. Similar way, staging area or index, both are same. Don't be confused. And then we have a repository is basically a head. Head is nothing but head by one commit, means you are head of your existing, this particular existing repo, right? Now still if you try to check the changes, you will not see the changes. Still it is not came in your remote. It is still there in your remote, I mean local repository, that is Git repository. So let me come back here. That means we did changes here. Then later what we did was we add after modifications, once we are good with the changes, we use a git add and whatever file name or space dot, right? So once we add that one, what happens? It is basically is nothing but we are moving from local directory or the working directory to the staging area. That means we are saying that the changes whatever I have made here, it seems good for me. Let me move to the staging area. This is what we do here using git commands, git add commands. Okay. Once we are good with this one, second what we are, because it will come as a first will be red color. Once you use a git add, it will be a green. That means you are in your staging area. Green means staging area. Red means working directory. Now hope this is clear, right? So now once it is a index area, next what you do basically is you will move from here using the git commit. Git commit basically whatever changes you have done, the green color, right? You have moved to staging area, right? All the staging area files, whatever you have, those all will be taken as a snapshot and move to your repository in your local repository using the git commit. Then only we are going to use the git push. Git push basically is nothing but you are pushing the local repository, whatever changes you have made, it is going to be pushed to your remote repository. That means right now we are going to push here. That is your remote repository in your GitHub. Let us do that using git push. See here, as I type git push, what basically we need to understand here, we need to understand one more thing. If you see here, where is data delta? There is a number. Okay, here, yeah. If you see here, there is a, this is called as your hash number. What is this? This is called as a hash number. Question is, what is hash number? Hash number is nothing but it is your unique number. Every single changes you do, Git will track the changes, right? This is why we define our username and password, right? So whatever changes you are doing locally, every single changes that you make and commit to the your remote repository, those changes will be tracked. This is why with the help of this ID, now if you see here, this will be 7 numbers mostly. You can see this, right? It's a 3 and here 4. These 7 numbers. Similarly, way here you can see the maybe 4 plus 7. Okay, this will be separated by 7 numbers. Okay, total we have 40 number. Actually, this is called as a hash number. So you don't need to copy entire 40 numbers. Rather you can copy only last 7 numbers. Let's say any 7 numbers. This will be called as your commit ID. You can call as a commit ID or the hash ID, whatever. Okay, now let us see now. As I told you, right now we have pushed from the remote to our local to the remote. Let us refresh. Now, as you can see here, I could see the changes. That is folder 1 is under folder 1. What we had, we have 2 different folder. I mean files. Now, whatever changes we are doing, this we could see. Okay, this is the basically flow it works. Now, I hope this is clear for now. The till here. Now, but I want to make you understand one more thing. This is good. You have understood. Now, let's say in the future again, the same changes now, let's say this is the repository, let's say you are using. Let's say some other colleagues in your project or maybe different project, they want to use the same repository. What they can do is simply they can clone it using same thing, git clone command, they can clone it and they can see the same changes, whatever you're doing. Okay. Okay, now let us understand one more thing here. I didn't show you one more. I told you to explain basically under here. But as I told you, this is behind the scenes. Basically, we don't understand or maybe we don't basically uh, try to understand this part. But it is always good to understand what happens in the background while using the Git. This particular folder basically it will be hidden. Now hidden in the sense, if you see here, I don't see the folder under repository, right? That is my Git DevOps Pulse. I don't see anything dot git this thing. See, it is not there. It is not there. I can see only readme.md as well as folder 1. I do not see this folder. See here, I can see 3, right? Dot git. Dot git is not because it is hidden file. Question is what is there inside this and what if I delete this one, right? Well, this is one of the biggest, basically, what is crucial things here. We need to basically at least understand some point. You don't have to be some, you at least need to know some basic. First thing, let us understand hook. Hook basically whatever changes you have clone, you doing changes and anything, right? This will be stored. Okay, meaning if you want to run some script or anything changes, example, if you see here, message samples, everything, we will basically be knowing that one. And we have a info. Info means info, under info we have a exclude. Info is nothing but basically it contains some of the code. Let's say, let me explain. I mean, let me open this one. Okay, now what it basically includes, this is basically under info slash exclude, right? Exclude mean you might have you might be knowing, like let's say I have some of the security reason, right? Instead of defining basically tracking all the changes, let's say for certain file, I want Git to ignore. Okay, some of the file I want to ignore. That means I don't want that to be available in my repository. That is your GitHub. The reason being is it could be security reason, because I don't want to expose everything. Let's say you have a username, you have a password, you have other credentials, whatever API keys. There could be many reasons, right? So I don't want that to be basically available in my what I said, or that manage, or basically I don't want that to be tracked by Git basically. In that case, we can use a under this thing. This is all information we will store under info. Sorry, I think, yeah, under info here. Sorry, where is that? Yeah, under info exclude. Exclude means its name suggests it will not include the changes. That means it is not going to monitor, or it is not going to be tracked anymore. Okay, that's the thing. Second, I mean logs. If you see logs, basically, as we all know, as I told you, every single changes that we are doing, this is to be tracked, right? So you need to know two things here. First thing is a head. Second is a reference. Again, head is nothing but your locally the changes that you're doing, local head. And under this thing, we have a reference ID. Reference is nothing but there are two. One is a local, another is a remote. Remote means this is basically repository. If you see origin, what did I say that time? Origin means it is basically a remote, right? So under origin, if you go, there is again what we see. What did I say that time? Under remote, this is a remote, right? We have a main. Okay. Hat means this is a commit by commit. How many changes are done till now? This everything will be tracked here. Pointing basically is a pointer basically. Here is nothing but it's a pointer. Let's say if you do two changes, this will be the head by one or two, like that will come. Main mean this is a branch name. So whatever changes you're doing this particular branch, this all will be tracked basically here. Okay. And second is, as I told you, we have only one main we have branch. So basically whatever changes we are doing remote as well as the locally will be tracked accordingly. Objects. Okay, objects basically in the sense every single code or piece of code that you are doing changes, right? Those all will be tracked, not individual, not the like a piece of this thing, individual code. I'm saying it now, but this particular code, sometime what happens, we cannot see this one. Let's say, let me see. This is a some ID, right? Let me just expand this one like this. We can see this one, right? But we cannot see this one, what is happening and everything, right, inside. So what we, if we have to open this one also, we will not see everything is here. Basically you will not be able to read. See, this is something we are not able to read basically. Okay, we are not able to read this one. The reason why we are not able to read this, you know why? Because this is actually use a different LZIP format they're using. Okay, that means something this is not be able to read. Question is, how can I read this one if I at all require? Question is, it is not actually mandatory, but yes, if you at all you want to basically read these changes, like whatever written everything, yes, it is possible. How can I check that one? Let us show you. Now, first thing, as I told you, every single changes we have a commit ID, right? This is why if I see here, there is a commit ID. If I extend, there are 7 number. I mean, if you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? But if I extend this one, let me show you. Okay, this is actually this thing. Okay, this actually total will have, if you go in the logs, this will be actually 40 numbers. Now let me copy this one. Why I want to copy? Because I want to show you what is there in inside this one. Okay, so if I want to check the changes, what is there inside the folder? How can I see this one? That basically it contains some information. You can simply type git cat file. Okay, git cat file dash p. Then you can give a your commit ID. I have copied already commit ID. Simply type it, enter it. Now, if you type here, what you see here? First thing, as I told you, this is a tree. That means, as I told you, every single changes that you are actually working, those all changes will be basically tracked, right? So you see here, the tree, this is a commit ID. This is where we be changes. That means whatever changes you are doing here, whatever tracking is done here, all information also can be seen this format. Okay. Second thing is in the parents, this is ID, and who's the author? This is the author, right? This is the email ID. You remember I said with the instead of Hriyen, I given as a Vivek? Yes, I can check this also. And what is the time span? Everything I can check. And also who committer? Who is a committer? I mean, it is committed by who? By me. And what are the files you committed? File 1. So this all the information is contained here, stored basically here under object. So that is where we can, that is how we can check it. But actually this is not required for you to understand in details, but I'm trying to basically make you understand so that you actually understand behind what happens actually. Okay. Reference means, again, as I told you, there are three things we need to understand. It is a reference related. Reference, why we use first thing. Let's say you have committed something locally now. Let's say you have committed 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. That means every single time you commit, there will be different changes happen, right, locally. And the same thing may be committed or pushed to your remote locations. Then what happens now? If I had to identify, let's say last to commit, whatever changes happen, I want to know the changes, like who has committed, what is the changes they have made, everything I can check that also. Then what I can do using the reference, you can help you. So this is why there are three things we need to understand. First thing is a hat. As we all know, hats mean it is a main. Head by how many committed. Remote mean that basically under remote we have that is in your GitHub. Then this is basically tags. Why tags also used? Right now I don't have a tag. Tag is used basically to identify for every single commit. You can also define a tag so that based on a tag you can basically identify the changes you made. Okay, this we will be learning later anyway. And then nothing much here. This is a commit message, whatever name you config. Okay, config basically it has a configuration details. Let's say like this, you will have all the configuration details. Okay, configuration related basically information you will have it. But anyway, what happened? Okay, okay, sorry here. Okay, then description is required. Here is okay. Index is as I told you. Index is basically nothing but it is a locally whatever changes you're doing. This will be again track here. Okay, so pack also pack reference everything. So basically this is overall it is required. You cannot delete this one. Not supposed to delete also. If you delete, then it may happen a big problem for you. So we should not delete this one. This is hidden by Git itself. But we should know what is happening in the background. This is the funda of the Git. Any question, team, till here, till now? Anybody having any questions?
No.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Don't feel shy. Like you should be be open. Whatever questions you have, you should be asking it so that I can clarify your doubts. Okay. All right. So I hope this is clear. And as I told you, you don't have to understand in details, but working with this particular is very crucial. You will be working on that. As I told you, we will be learning first basic. Once we are good with the very basic, we will try to basically learn. Maybe after 1 month, we will try to focus in the real time. Let's say in the real world how it is actually working. That way, I will explain it. For now, just giving a hint how actually the Git works. Okay, similar way we can do this also. So you can just have a look this also. This again, as I mentioned, this also works similarly. Then we have this one Git repository start changes. Changes also we can see same way. I have my documents also. You can see the using the Git logs. Like we run these commands to initialize, then we clone also, and we also use git add and whatever file name, or using the git add double space dot, right? We have to change the status, the commit message. Then if you want to check the status, you can use the git status. Okay, whatever changes. If you see here, check the working directory where we are. Git log basically right now if I see here. Now, as I told you right now where we are, how many files are committed, so you can see it's last changes we made this one, right? So who's doing the git log basically, if you see here, as I told you, if you just count this number, there will be 40 number. Okay, there will be 40 number. So but you don't need to know all this 40 number, but yes, if you have this thing, you can define this number. This is a last 40 number, and this is a head, and this is a main means this is a branch basically. Head basically this nothing but is a pointer basically. Okay, that means where your changes are to, like whatever changes you are doing, that particular changes is nearby, like let's say this is in my case it is main branch in the sense changes whatever you're doing locally or anything, right? This is pushed to the main branch, that is why it is showing here. Origin means, yeah, again as I told you, it is basically remote, and that remote or repository we have main branch, right? This also again is your head, that means we are up to date. Then this is my author, like who committed, what is the email ID, what is the date, time, everything can be tracked, and what changes they have made, everything we can track this also. Okay, so this is how we can actually check it. Now, okay, we have understood this basic at least. If you want to reshare and all, we don't have to reshare this one. If you want to reshare for any reason, you can do that. Git log we have understood. Uh, then also, if you want to see the git difference, we can check the git difference if you have different kind of changes that we want to make. Right now, we will not focus much this thing because we will do when we do hands-on. We will learn that time. Then I will try to show you the little bit of the brands related. Okay, before brands, I will explain here. I think I have it here. Huh. Can somebody tell me, we have work in anything, right? And now there is a, I want to make you all understand the difference between clone, pull, fetch, push, and again, clone is nothing. These three basically three. Clone, pull, fetch, and push. Okay. So first, let us go with the first one. Say for example, let me reduce the, how can I reduce the size? Okay. Okay. Let me, okay. Let me understand one thing here. If you notice this diagram, what it says basically, this is developer one. Okay. And this is basically another developer, two developer, right? Developer A and B. Now we have a repository. Say for example, in our case, that is on GitHub, or this particular DevOps Pulse repository now. Now that means whatever changes you want to do in your local system, okay, as a developer one, what they'll do, they will first clone it, right? They will clone it first. That means the same copy of the data in the same copy of the repository file, whatever project file we have, everything will be taken as a copy and stored where, in your local system, right? That is what we did it also using git clone command initially. Then once we do modifications after cloning, that means what the changes, whatever we have we have cloned, those changes I will make locally. Okay. After making, after locally, once I make this thing, what I'll do, I will use the git add. Then I will move to the git changes. Commit. I'll do the commit. Then it will move committed. After committed, commit the changes in the sense git add. Then it moved to the staging, right? Staging area in the sense, what you call staging. Then this thing commit. First we will add. Then it will move to staging. After staging, then it will move to the commit. Then only we can push to the remote, right? So now what we do, but we need to understand exactly in the backend what happens. Let's say git clone push system. Let me understand think one thing, make you understand. Git clone is nothing but same copy of your existing repository. It is going to be as it is. That means it is going to be a copy of your existing repository. That is your GitHub. Okay, that means same copy of your repository will be downloaded in your local system. And second thing is your push. Push is why we use basically the changes whatever after using the git commit, whatever command we are using, right? The changes only stored in your local repository. But in order to that also available, the changes available in your remote repository, that is when we use a git push command. That means the changes whatever you have made locally, you want to make that available remotely. That time we can use a git push commands, basically pushing the changes. Then these two are very crucial, guys. These two, mostly any project you go, these two are very crucial. You need to understand very much. Okay, first let us understand what is git fetch use. Okay, git, if I use a fetch, it's nothing but a git fetch, right? Git fetch we can use only when you want to see the changes remotely, but I do not want to clone it in my local systems. In the sense, whatever changes I have made here remotely, let's say somebody did some changes here remotely, but that is not available in my remote local system because they are two different system, right? In remotely it is not available. Okay, but I want to see from here. Let's say whatever changes somebody did remotely, I simply want to see the changes, but I don't want that to be merged with my repository. In the sense, I don't want that to be clone here also. I simply want to see simple in here. Okay, that is where we can use git fetch. Similar way, if I talk about the git what is a pull, it is the opposite way. That means git pull will help you to basically not just fetching the from the remote. Let's say I have done some changes here. The same changes will be downloaded in your local local directory, in particular a specific branch. Let's say I am working right now. I can simply type git branch also. Right now I'm in the main branch, right? That means I can right now whatever changes before that, it should be clear. Okay, you should know which branch you are working on. Okay, so right now I'm in the main branch. Now based on the main branch, you should know whatever changes happen remotely, those all changes will be cloned in particular branch. That means all changes will be updated as well in your local branch. This is the difference, guys. But in the first case, you will only be able to identify what changes matter. You will not be able to basically download that. It is not going to download. It is just going to fetch the information. That's it. Okay. So anyway, you have a notes for that. I think I have made a notes. You can just have a look. Clone, as you can how to clone. I given all the details also. It will be easy for you to understand. Creates a local copy of a repository, as I told you. That is when we do. And pull means updates the local branch with remote changes. That means it is going to be whatever changes you are doing remotely, the same changes going to be updated locally also in your specific branch using the git pull. Then fetch means retrieves remote settings before merging. That means it is not going to merge. It simply basically retrieves the informations, remote changes. Okay, this is why we use a git fetch. Then push, as I told you, sends local commits to the remote repository. Whatever locally you have committed, those will be those changes will be pushed to your remote. Then we will understand git merge branch name. Git merge basically merging two different branches. Let's say you have in branch one some configure some changes, and in the branch two you have some other changes. Those all changes to be combined as one branch. Then you can use a merge command, git merge. Okay. So anyway, what we will do, uh, We will try to understand first of all. You can ignore for now the margin strategy. I will explain later maybe. What we'll try to understand is we'll try to understand brands. Why brands is used. Let's say, as I told you, I have a brands, git brands, br dash a. Dash, there is a, I can simply type this brands also. This also works fine. That means this only will show me whatever brands I have locally. I have locally only one branch, right? That this is why I'm showing. And again, guys, if you notice here, this is the green color. Always remember, whenever you see green color for the branch name, I'm saying it. If you see any branch name as green, that means you are within the branch itself. If you have multiple brands, that time whichever branch you are on top of the branch, you only for the particular branch will be shown as green. Let me now, if I see here, if I type here git branch, I could see only branch. Now how can I see remove branch also? Remove branch, there are two way of seeing it. One is using the dash a. Dash a also is nothing but it is all. That means I'm going to see local branch as well as remote branch just with the help of dash a. Now, if you notice here, as I told you, this is basically a remote branch, sorry, a local branch. That is how it is. And with the green, and you can see the star or asterisk you can call. That means this is the right branch. We are in this particular branch. Now, if you see here, remote, the original main head, this is a order changes. Remote origin, as I told you, it is actually remote one. Okay. So, and this is the I don't have any branch. Now, if I have to create one separate branch here, just to make you understand better. Guys, please let me know in case if you have any this thing. Okay, there is a branch, right? Maybe CBR here. You can go here. You can go to the branch repository, create new one. I can just type as Hriyen branch name. This will be under main branch. That means whatever changes is there in the mains, based on that, it will be created as a source branch. That means same copy of the branch will be created for Hriyen branch created. Now that means, as I mentioned, you will have two branch here. Now if I use again git this thing, it may take some time. Okay, maybe we need to do this. Anyway, this will come later. Window face. Okay, now what we need to understand here, you can ignore this branch now. Say for example now, as I told you, whatever changes I have remotely, because it has to be fetched first. This is why it is not come. But if you want this to be available, you can simply use git pull origin main, because this particular is based on the main branch originally, right? Sorry, not dev, it is a main. Now let me type. Now, if you see one pairs, one whatever changes they are showing, this particular it will be shown here already up to date, because we don't do any changes now. We don't have any changes. So what we will do next is I want sorry, creating the branch. Why we you understand why we create a branch? There are many ways to create a branch. I think better I will go with the document so that it will be easy for you to understand. This is basically to set the branch. I have given this is basically git commands. What does list local branch? Only if you want to list the local branch, you can use example git branch. You can only use this command git branch. And if you want to list using the dash a, that means everything. That means local as well as remote. List all local and remote branch. So you can, as I mentioned, you can use dash. Or if you don't want to use a dash, there is sorry a, there is another way of doing it. Git branch dash double dash all. This also same as it is dash a. So it is a short name. This is a long name. So as you're comfortable, you can use whichever command you need. So you don't see difference, right? This is a two different, but remain same. They work same. Okay. So whichever command you prefer, you can use that one. Then next, we will try to see a Git branch. We will try to create a Git branch. Question is, why do we create a branch? First, we branch. Why we use a branch? Say, for example, I am being as a DevOps
I have a
engineer.
doubt.
Yeah,
In
please,
that
please.
commands, as you said, get to branch means it only displays the local ones, right? When you give
Which,
dash a, it displays local and remote ones. Which one is the remote
yes.
one in that?
Okay. Whatever you see red color, right? Red color, it will be a remote. Or
Okay.
always you, how you identify is, or always you will see the origin. Remember this
Okay.
one. If I see here, sometime here also, if you see air, all, we can define the same thing we can see. So the way how we can identify is that whenever you see origin with any name, let's say origin, remote slash origin slash head main, whatever is there, right? That means those all are remote. In the sense, your GitHub related things. Okay. And anything you see it locally, it will not come as a origin. It will come as just a branch name. Let me show you that. Okay. Thanks for that. Thanks for the this thing. So we will see. See, there are two way of creating the branch also. If you see here, git branch and the branch name I can give. Example, git branch and whatever feature branch, whatever name I can give like this. This basically will only create the branch. There is also another branch. I think it is there. Here. Git checkout dash b and a branch name. What it does basically, if you see the definitions or description, create and switch to a new branch. That means two jobs can be done in one shot. That means, let me show you. As I told you, why we use a Git, sorry, branch we'll understand first. Let's say you are working as a developer, as a DevOps engineer. Normally, nobody will work in your main branch. Okay, nobody will work in main branch. So what you do instead, you will create the branch locally, either remotely. It depends on your situation to situation. It may varies. In my case, I'm trying to create manually, sorry, locally, because it will help you understand better. Now, let me create Git branch, then branch name. This, let's say, branch A. Okay, let's say branch A. This branch A is created. If just branch A mean, it is only creating the branch name as branch A. But you will also be able, same thing, you will be stored, you will be in same branch only. If you will be sitting, for example, let's see. If you type git status or git branch, you can type, or git status branch, you can type anything, not an issue. Okay. If you see here, if I type this also on branch main, that means I'm in the main branch, right? I'm in the main branch. Now, another way of doing is that I can similar time br. Br is a branch. That means I'm, see, there are two things, right? As I told you, whichever you see a streak with the green color, that means you are in the particular branch. Right now, still I'm in the branch. Right now, this branch is created, but still I am not in the branch, right? But now, let me create another branch. At the same time, I want to switch the particular branch. This time, that time I simply created, that's it. But I remain same in the same branch, main branch. But this time, I will create a branch and switch to the particular branch. Git checkout dash b. B is nothing but it is a branch, short name. Then I can give a branch b. Let's say brn's branch b. That means this time what it will do is that it will create a new branch. At the same time, it is going to check over. In the sense, it is going to switch to the new branch, that is a branch b. Let us see. See here. As soon as I type git checkout dash b and the branch name, that is b, as you can see here, it is created and showing switch to a new branch, that is a branch b, right? This is good. In case if you are simply you want to basically create and move to the branch, then you can use these commands best. Then how I can check this now? Same thing, git branch or br. Now, as I told you, what did I say that time? Any branch you see with the asterisk with the green, that means you are setting on particular branch itself. That is a branch B. Similar way, before if you notice, main branch was in green color, right, with the asterisk mark. But now, as you can see here, right now, we are in our branch B. That is why with the asterisk also we could see. If you see rest of the branch are in not green, this is a normal color. So this basically means this is all our local branch. Now that means we are sitting in our B branch B. Now let us see remote and remote public also using A. What did I say that time? Anything you see origin with the this thing, this you will see red color. Example, this all remotely defined. This all whatever created locally also showing as normal color, and only the present the branch that you are working, those will be identified by asterisk and a green color. I hope this is clear, team. Right? Okay. Now let's go with the next. I think we have understood this one. Okay. Now let us do some changes now. Right now, as I told you, we are in a branch B. Question is branch B now. Let me go here, right? Branch B, we are here. Now I will try to create one more new folder under repository. I'll create new folder. Sorry. Um, folder B. Folder B, sorry, folder from branch B, just for our understanding. Branch B. Folder from branch B. Okay. I'm creating, and I'm going to basically under here I'm basically going to create another file, file B, something like that. This is a test. Okay, I think this is this thing. Now if I see here, that means whatever changes you are actually working right now, you are not, as I told you, you can see here also, right? This is a branch. You can change the branch from here using the CLI as well as from the here also. If you click here, whatever branch you have, let's, as I told you, I have a branch A and branch B, and then I have a main, right? I have these three changes, I mean branch name, right? So whichever branch you want to work with, you can select from here also. Otherwise, if I want to switch back to different branch, I mean, I don't want to create, I have already created, let's say branch A was already created before, right? I simply want to switch this particular branch. Then how can I do that? Then that time, simply use the git checkout. Checkout is nothing but you're going to switch to particular branch. That is a branch B. You have to give the same name as it is. So right now I'm in the branch B. Let me go to the branch A. Branch. Okay, branch A. I hope this is clear. Okay. Now let me switch. Now, if you see here, switch to the branch A. Now, if I type again the git BR or branch, I'm in the branch A. So again, it is a green color, right? This is how we can work with the branch basically. So I hope this is clear. Now what we'll understand, now this particular changes, it is not available here. It is not there. What I did was, let me go back my branch B because I did some changes there, right? Git checkout. Branch B, right? I mean, this is where I did changes, right? If you see here, this is untracked. That means this is not been tracked now. Now do one thing, this particular changes with a branch. Let me commit this one. Again, what is the commit? Git add. That means the changes, whatever I'm doing, it is untracked. Now, if I type a git status, it will be a red color. That means I'm the changes, whatever you are making till now, it will be in the working directory. It will be red color. As I told you, folder from branch B, right? Spelling mistake, branch, that's okay. Okay, I'm in the branch B right now. This is still untracked. That means this particular changes still in your local working directory. Now let me this one move to the staging area. What is the command? Using git. Let's say I'm good with the changes. I will use the git add using dash command, sorry, space dot commands. This means everything, not just one changes, any changes you could see here, no, all changes will be apply. Now I will do. Now again, if I type the git status, it will be green color now, because right now these all changes are moved from working directory to staging area. Staging area mean that is this thing in your, as you can see, color change now. No, now also good. Now from here also I'm good with the changes. Now I can do a git commit dash m dash m dash m message name basically from branch B. Okay, it is committed. Now if I type a git status, you will see nothing because it is moved from the staging to your local repository. But if you still remotely, you will not see now, because still we have not pushed the changes. You could see only the my branch or no other branch or no changes, nothing, right? If you go my main branch or any branch, you will not see anything because we have not committed. Now what we'll do next is I want to push it. Before that, you need to know which branch I'm setting. As I told you, I'm setting in my branch 2. If you see here. Now let me just put a change git push. Let me know if I fail. This particular may fail. What it says? Definitely it will fail. Why reason it will fail? That time it was pushing when I was modifying from the main branch. When I use a git push, I didn't do any kind of any changes and all. Simply I use a git push after committing, right? It pushed directly. But this time I'm not able to push the changes directly. You know why? The reason why I'm not able to, if you read this in portal, the current branch B has no upstream branch. To push the current branch and set the remote as upstream, use git put set upstream origin branch B. To have this happen automatically for branch BitTorrent as tracking upstream C something like that. What it basically is that what is the problem in this case is that because that time we were working in the main branch, the main branch was available in the remote as well as local. Basically, we have cloned it, right? We have cloned the main branch. That means whatever changes is there in the main branch, those changes was downloaded in your local branch also. That means the data kind of they are seeing. But when it comes to the B, that is a branch B. This was created manually from your local system. So whatever changes you are doing from your new branch, you cannot directly push to the remote branch. Then question is, then how can I do that? Because I have made changes, but I want to push now, right? So now let us understand that. So in order to do that, what you can do is you can simply use a git. Okay, you can use a git, then push dash. You can use there is a set upstream. You can copy paste it. Otherwise, you simply use a u dash u. Question is, why do I use a dash u? It's nothing but it is a upstream short name. U mean it is a upstream short name. Okay, I prefer to use u dash u only. I don't want to define all the big name. Then origin. Then what is the branch name? B. I can just copy paste also the branch name also if I want, but it's okay. Branch B. Okay. Question is, what is the upstream meaning? Upstream is nothing but, as I told you, whenever changes we are doing everything in your data, basically there is a folder, right? Object here, under here, we have it objects, all the data will be stored, all the every single commit, right? All the information. Those all changes or everything will have, it has to be tracked properly, locally as well as remote. So as I told you, this particular branch was not available remote, that is GitHub. This is why I was having issue. That is why I have to now basically using the upstream commands, I need to push this one. Not just upstream, I need to identify in where exactly you need to push. As I mentioned, git push is something that we use, and then that's you is nothing but upstream. Origin, why we use, as I told you, anytime you are working with your remote repository, origin is something that you need to mention it, okay, or you need to understand it. So this is why I need to define the origin. Without defining origin, no, you cannot push it, because origin means that is a remote. And in the remote, I given the name. That means I'm trying to say that now, okay, boss, this particular changes that is remote branch B uh, in my local system is created. Now I want that to be identify. All the information has to be updated as well as in remote. Okay, this is why we use these commands. Now let me do that. Now see the magic. It is gone now. Right now, same as it is before. Now, if you see here, new asterisk with a new branch. Obviously, this is a new branch, right? New branch is created. Now if you see here, set up to track the origin.b. Now, let us go back now. Now we don't have it. Let us refresh it. Now you will get to see the branch B as well. Let me just click here. Now you can see the Hriyen branch is created manually. Is of course this branch B also we have created manually, that is available right now in remote. Now if I go this particular branch, that is branch B, right? If you see the branch B now, you can see the changes. Folder from branch B, I have this one file B. I can see here everything. This is the changes we made. Similar way, but if you go to the different branch, let me go back to the branch that is branch A. Sorry, branch main branch. You will not see in branch main branch. We don't have the folder from branch B. We don't have that one because the changes was made only in particular branch B branch. Okay, this is the thing. But here we don't have it. Now that is how it works. Now this is the thing. Now let's say now what we will do next. Now we have understood how to push the branch it. Now for now this is the thing. Now second thing what we will do. Now I want to basically merge whatever changes is there in the branch B has to be merged with my main branch. That means I want to combine. That means whatever changes is happen in the branch B, that has to be available in my main branch also. Then how can I do that one? So you go to your repository first. So whichever repository right now, this is just now is this push. So I can use up compare and a pull request. I can do it. But let's say if you are somebody who's doing like this thing, no, how we can do it? You simply there is a pull request, right? Go to here in your repository, go to pull request. If you create a pull request, you can see a new pull request, so I can select it. If you have new one, you can select new one, or you can select new one. I mean, if you have the existing, you can use this one. Otherwise, you can create from your new one. In my case, I will select this one, new one. I mean, existing. Now, main branch to this thing. That means now, base is this thing. Compare B. Compare B means now I want to main branch with my from main branch to the main branch to the this branch B. I want to check the changes, whatever changes happen. So what I'll do first, I will mention the title, whatever branch this is from. Like this is title, any title name you can give. Okay, I can give anything. Now you can write anything, but normally we don't need to do that. Second thing, what we need to understand is here. Once we define here. Now, if you see here, changes we are working, right? Contributor. Basically, we need to assign somebody as a reviewer, but for now we don't have to do it. We will do that one when we actually working. Somebody needs to review your code basically when actually is working. Now, if you see here, right now I don't have no reviewer. Now, if I okay, no problem. I will assign later. I don't have to assign anybody till now. Okay. Anyway, so you will assign somebody. You will do pull request. So once you do pull request, there is a create a pull request. So as soon as you type the pull request, what happens? You can basically check whatever changes is there, and everything you can see it. So you can also, sorry, you can see the, yeah, like in the particular, if you remember, only from the branch main to the branch B, this is the only changes that we are made, right? So this always we can see here actually. If there is multiple changes, yes, you can easily see that as well. But for now, we don't have any changes, much changes. Okay, that is the thing. Now, then next, we are going to basically you can merge the pull request. If you do, if see there are way like we can have a merge, create a merge commit, then squash and a rebase everything. Depends on this thing we can basically define. In my case, I can use basically rebase if you want to do. Okay. Anyway, this rebase or everything we will discuss maybe when we actually do in the project. Okay. Now, if I say rebase, okay, then you can simply type confirm the rebase, or if you don't want to rebase, you can select anything that you would like to do. Now, pull request successfully merged and closed it. So you can do this kind of this thing. There is so many other settings also that definitely we will be doing that as well. Maybe tomorrow we will focus a little bit of GitHub and then somewhere in the Git as well. Okay, so this is a thing. Now, if you go back to the your main branch, let me refresh the main branch. If you see, right, I'm in the main branch, right? Let me just switch the branch. Let me go back to the again same my main branch. So you can see the main branch because that changes whatever I had in my branch B, it is available in my branch that is main branch also. So that is how we can do that one. Okay. So that is a thing. Apart from this one, let me check what else we can discuss. Okay, merging brands also locally, we can do that also. But that is, I normally don't encourage anybody to do it locally because without knowing if you're going in the production or maybe in your actual project, nobody will do a git merge directly from the GUI. I mean, from your CLI. Okay, you always need to do it. You have to review the changes first based on the requirement. Once it is good, then only manually you have to approve it. You should not merge from your CLI. And then you can just go ahead, but you don't have to know everything. As I told you, I have given the short notes. You can just go through. This is enough for working on this thing. Okay. Now we have another things. As I told you, merge something. Why we use it? Uh, Say for example, I have two changes. This is basically using the CLI. Okay, I have a branch A. I want to merge with the branch B. So you have to switch the branch and then you have to merge with whichever branch you want to merge with. That's why we can do it. Rebase, commit into another branch. If you have some multiple changes, basically, rebase basically what it does basically, say for example, you have multiple changes. You want to override the multiple commit messages, right? With one this thing, we can use a rebase. But as I told you, you need to basically see the changes first, then only we can do a changes. And this one, resolving merge conflict manually, this is something very important. We need to know that. Maybe tomorrow we will do that one because we need to understand actually how this kind of what is it conflict may occur, right? So we should understand the situations when it will occur and what is the possibility basically to resolve the issue. Then we have this thing git origin push, this normally we don't have to use much, but yeah, if you have a remote, if you have another repository, you can use git what do you call git remote and dash b. Okay, if you have if you want to add it, you can use like this. Let's say you want to add new repository with the existing or anything, you can use a git add and then whatever url you have, you can just like what we have the url right here, same way you can just copy paste it. That is a thing. And as I told you that this one you understood. Remove also we understood. One thing here, this one I will cover tomorrow. 6 number is quite advanced. This I will try to explain it now if we have time for some time. Okay, for 2-3 minutes. um Basically resetting the sense whatever changes we are doing, let's say till now you might have seen we have done from local to remote and remote to local, right? So those all changes, let's say for any reason could be a issue, right? So how can you fix the issue, right? How can you basically identify it? Let's say I have some issue, I want to reset it, but there are three ways of doing so. Rewarding, reward in the sense, say for example, let me show you. um I have it here with the commit ID of this one. Okay, from main branch, I'll go with the branch B. Okay, we are under branch B, right? In branch B, now if I go here, now we have a one commit message. Now, if you see this commit message, I'll just commit is a SN number, okay? Um, so now if you see this commit message, this is there in the branch B. Now, let's say some issue comes now. For any reason, I want to bring this back. How can I do that? First of all, we need to understand the situations. Simply, we cannot run the comments. Let me show you. Git. Always try. Another thing is that whenever you're working with a Git, if you're not aware of the comments, let's say we don't have any idea about the research comments, what all possibility we can do using the Git command. So instead of searching in all the Google or documentations, it is not at all required. Git has a tools to basically check what commands I can run based on the situations. My case, I want to reset, right? So simply what I can do, git reset. I want to know what is the possibility commands are available within git reset. Let me I can type a double dash help. Question is there are two way here also. You need to understand now you want what is your requirement. See, example, I'll give you the first requirement. That is the using the git reset double dash help. This basically will open in notepad, so that if you want to copy the particular commands in your future reference or do other things reference, you can use this command double dash. Let me show you. See here, as soon as I type the git reset, not just the reset, any command you want to search, let's say git checkout double dash help or single dash, you can do that. So in my case, I will open the notepad for once. You can see here, right? Now if I type here git reset if I type, see here, this basically a long list, right? Sometimes it is difficult for you to go all everything. It's very difficult. So the best what we can do is, if you want to see the reference, maybe understand, then you can select this, you can choose this one, but I would not recommend this one if unless you don't need. What you can do is you can use a single dash. Single dash will help you to basically display within your BS core only. See here how easy it is. As compared to the BS code, this is much more easier and easy to understand as well, right? This looks a little neat. The beginning, before what we had was little messy. So now, as I type git what is it help, right? So you can see here within this thing also we have three things. One is while resetting itself, there are three things mostly being used. The first one is a mix. Second is your soft. Third is your hard. Double dash hard basically. What it means, you will get a what is there description. So if I say the mix, what the name suggests, mix means basically reset hat and index. Now index means Mix mean basically whatever changes you are doing, it is going to move from your last commit as well as in your index. Index means your staging area. Okay, it will be there. It will be till the staging area. It will be do changes. It will do changes till the staging area. And the swap means it will not move to the staging area. Only the last commit it will be changed. Head means last changes means what after committing git commit we are using, right? After that we are using the git push, right? That means it is not going to push. It will revert back basically. Simple case. And the third is your her. This is very dangerous, guys. What it does, if you see here, as the name suggests, it will reset the head. Means it will reset the recent commit as well as it will also remove from your existing index or existing index in the sense of what I call staging area. It will remove from there and also it will delete from your basically till the working directory. It will move you to the working directory. Okay, this is why it is very much critical for you to basically to do it in your case. But question is then when can I use in which commands, right? Okay, say for example, I'm being as a DevOps engineer, I'm working the branch B right now, and I don't, but what I did was I have randomly pushed some changes that say some username password I have configured in the secrets or something I have done it, something which is very sensitive information. Now what I want is I want that to be basically I don't want any more. I don't want anybody to see the changes. I want that to be as soon as possible. I want that to be deleted. Right. And also I don't care who does what. Meaning, let's say I have already committed, right? From branch B, some already branch B is available now in my here also it is available. Now let's say somebody is using the same branch, clone from this branch, then what happens? They'll have a then this particular changes also will be occurred for them also, right? That time, what happened? It will be a big problem because you're doing a changes in your branch, which is already used by some other person, and you're deleting the branch, I mean changes, then it is the biggest problem for you because the same changes are working on some other person, right? So this particular hard command you can only use basically when you know that okay, no problem, I'm the only person who's working this particular branch, or I don't care whoever works on this particular branch, it is not that critical, I can manage it. That situations, yes, you can use with this one. And second means swap means let's say some other person is working, they have cloned from your branch B, they have cloned and working with the same branch, and you just want to basically do some changes and all, I mean revert back, then you can use this swap branch as well. And sorry, these two branch swap and the what I call mixed branch. Hard commands is very you need to careful, it will delete everything. Okay, that is a thing. Okay, till now, guys, anything you have questions, please do let me know. I can answer. Am I audible?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, you are audible, Hriyen.
Oh yeah. So yeah, any questions you have till now? Is it clear or not clearing? You're not able to understand or anything like that? Maybe I'll stop recording for now. Thank you, everyone. So we can discuss offline also.
As it's the theory part, it's a